gave the game away. He said, the problem is we gotta figure out how to get everyone using the biometrics. And why would he care about how many people are using it if they're so-called offering a choice to everyone?
You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time.
Short of a power outage, no one is arguing to keep a key. Everyone wants more security, but the question is, how far, how much? There's a faction minority that wants maximum security and has zero tolerance and does not care about the interests of the majority that don't wish to have that degree of security. And more specifically, what we're talking about is access control, and access control via fingerprints or facial recognition. And they're ready to deactivate the keys in coming days by this Friday, according to their last message. And we're stuck being left, for those who don't sign up, playing intercom roulette. They've deluded themselves in thinking they're even offering a reasoned alternative. In a most recent meeting, the only comments when trying to address and contemplating the practicalities of the alternative of using an intercom is, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Well, the bridge is freaking here already. Think about it. They want to cut the keys off in days. There's chatter of replacing the intercom system, where it will only be accessible on tower side, on lobby level only, on the 3rd floor. So if you're parking on the ground level, you better hope you didn't slip and fall and are in a cast, because unless you hobble up 2 ramps to get there, is more than an inconvenience to get home to your unit. They will be removing intercoms from the 2nd floor on the ground level, and I still don't understand why. And frankly, they don't care. They're more obsessed with control, thinking they're doing it in service for a greater good when they haven't looked at online surveys, and they're even more emboldened and measure the success by the 1,200 people that have already signed the privacy agreement. Meanwhile, the unspoken numbers, I'd say at least a large majority of them for sure would have never signed it and don't want to. They just don't want disruption in their lives. And they are misreading the room and how angry people really are, especially how this was all rolled out without any real input. Everything was ramrodded down everyone's throat since day one.
Ramrod. Ramrod.
Last week at the rec board meeting on February 1st, towards the end of the meeting, Lewis said the quiet part out loud. He gave the game away. He said, the problem is we gotta figure out how to get everyone using the biometrics. And why would he care about how many people are using it if they're so-called offering a choice to everyone to use an intercom? Think about that. He's been obsessing about this day and night for the last 3 or 4 months, ever since that October 25th meeting when all hell broke loose. And he's not alone in the obsession. You take a look at the actions of all the board members collectively over the last 3 or 4 months, and they've all been imposing their will on us, claiming through a choice that's not even contemplated out, that rovers and desk people are not ready for nor trained for, because they don't care about the choice. They'd as soon have you suffering, waiting at the door, playing intercom roulette, and wonder how long you get in, because they'd rather have you sign up. And he gave the game away. All they're doing is ramrodding it down our throats.
Ramrod.
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 And even worse, this is not the end of it. It is still the beginning. And I'll tell you why. It's one thing to be scared of your own shadow, or be worried about illegal renters, or having fear of the other, or being paranoid of an invader, etc. So let's say you get all that done, and it's just us. There is no other. There is no invader. You know what's on deck? You know what's next? I was at a meet and greet where 2 board members are saying they're ready to put cameras on every floor and all floors, so vandals could be caught. That's a bridge too far for me. I don't need a surveillance state on the very floor I live on. After all the security and making sure all the others are out, now we're all suspicious of each other. This is insane. I've heard this from staff before, where they look at the building like it's just a giant problem and that the people who live here are nothing but animals. And with that kind of attitude, it almost becomes self-fulfilling. If you ain't getting the message yet, wake up! There are lines, there are limits, there are boundaries. This is too far and too much, and it's from people with zero tolerance for anyone who thinks differently. To keep these videos shorter for the sake of time, this is going to have to turn into a multi-parter, so expect another video in days to come.
Ramrod. 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 You get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Da-da-da-dum.